Folks, we've been sold a bill of goods. For years, they told us to accept government waste. They told us these bloated bureaucracies were too big to change. They told us to shut up and pay our taxes. Well, President Trump doesn't take no for an answer. He promised to drain the swamp, and he meant it. That's why he brought in Elon Musk and his team, the best and brightest minds, to create the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. And let me tell you, DOGE has been digging up dirt. Real dirt. We are draining the swamp, President Trump famously said. And these findings from DOGE are proof that the swamp creatures are fighting back. Our first stop on this journey through the belly of the beast takes us to USAID, the United States Agency for International Development. Now this agency, folks, is supposed to be helping people around the world. Your tax dollars at work, building schools, delivering food, that sort of thing. But what did Elon's team find? I'll tell you what they found. They found a bloated bureaucracy, more interested in lining its own pockets than helping those in need. We're talking millions, tens of millions of your dollars squandered on lavish conferences, sweetheart contracts, and outright fraud. One USAID project, folks, just one, spent over $50,000 on custom-made carpets. Carpets. While children in these countries go to bed hungry, USAID bureaucrats are walking on silk. It's enough to make you sick. Next up, we turn our attention to the Department of Education. Now, we all want our kids to get a good education, right? But at what cost? The Department of Education is a black hole for your tax dollars, folks. A bureaucratic monster that consumes money and spits out useless programs. DOGE found that the Department of Education spends billions of dollars every year on programs that have zero, I repeat, zero measurable impact on student achievement. They're more interested in pushing a woke agenda than actually teaching kids how to read, write, and do math. And don't even get me started on the administrative bloat. The Department of Education has more administrators than teachers. You couldn't make this stuff up, folks. It's an outrage. Chapter 3. Health and Human Services, where your health comes second to their bottom line. Now let's talk about the Department of Health and Human Services. This is the agency that's supposed to be looking out for our health, our well-being. But under the swamp's control, it's become a feeding frenzy for special interests and corrupt bureaucrats. DOGE uncovered billions of dollars in fraudulent Medicare and Medicaid payments. We're talking about your hard-earned money, folks, going straight into the pockets of criminals. And the waste. The DOGE report found that HHS wasted billions more on overpriced drugs and unnecessary medical procedures. It's enough to make you sick, literally. While Americans are struggling to afford healthcare, HHS is busy funneling money to their cronies. It's a disgrace. Chapter 4. EPA, the Environmental Protection Racket. Our final stop on this tour of government waste and abuse takes us to the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. Now, I care about the environment as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the EPA, folks, has become a runaway train. More interested in punishing American businesses than actually protecting the environment. DOGE found that the EPA wastes billions of dollars every year on regulations that do little to improve the environment but cost American jobs. They become a bureaucratic nightmare, folks, more interested in their own power than in common sense solutions. And the worst part, they're not even accountable to the American people. The EPA operates in the shadows, unaccountable and unelected. It's time to rein them in, folks. Time to bring some accountability back to Washington. Chapter 5, Trump fights back, draining the swamp one agency at a time. So what can be done? Well, folks, the good news is that President Trump is already taking action. He's cut regulations, slashed budgets, and fired corrupt bureaucrats. He's appointed people who believe in smaller government, lower taxes, and more freedom. But he can't do it alone. He needs our help. We need to hold Congress accountable. We need to demand that they cut spending, reduce the size and scope of government, and get out of the way of the American people. President Trump is fighting for us, folks. He's fighting for a better future. Let's stand with him. Let's take back our country. The findings from DOGE are shocking, but they're not surprising. This is what happens when you have a government that's too big, too powerful, and too unaccountable. But we, the American people, have the power to change it. We need to demand better. We need to demand accountability. We need to demand efficiency. As Elon Musk famously said, efficiency is key to progress. And folks, we can't have progress without efficiency in government. Stay informed, get involved, and let's work together to create a more efficient, more accountable, and more prosperous future for all Americans.